definitely, if you can, watch it when it comes out. And he's also just signed a deal for a movie, an actual feature film to be made, the Ron Van Cleef story. So I mean, his life is so much more than people often realize, and so it is truly an honor that he's with us. So again, moving on though,
we'll wind up having him on the show at some point. Again, he was in California. He's going back home, so when he gets settled in, we're gonna get him on the phone. But he, again, just to touch on him, he's a good guy. Know him for a long time. He's done stuff to help our Karate Kids Online, and over the years. So I mean, he's a good guy. So hopefully his documentary and his film projects and everything he has will do very well, and I think they will, because his story is interesting. But let me ask you this, Aaron.
Sure.
We went through your vision with the Fight Council, what you're doing with the mixed martial arts, actually the martial arts community as a whole. We touched on that. Now, I need to ask you, what, and again, we don't want to make this a elongated interview, but what is your view on mixed martial arts being blocked in such states as New York?
Well, now that's a great question, and I'll give you just a short answer. It's incredibly short-sighted and backwards. It absolutely is, and here's what I mean by that. But there is an upside. It won't be that way for long. Part of what we're doing, part of what the MMA Fight Council is looking to do, is figure out ways to work with. There's only another 10 or 11 states now that have not formally legitimized mixed martial arts in their state, and we're looking for ways to help and work and raise awareness in those states also. That's just another part of what we're looking to do. In New York specifically, though, Rob Walker is the assemblyman there who is championing the cause of mixed martial arts becoming legalized.
And that's in New York. Oh, it says Rob Walker. Just make sure, you New York MMA guys or your fans that want MMA in New York, you better support Rob Walker, because he's the guy that's going to help make things happen.
He is it. I mean, he is literally the guy that is tirelessly pushing the bill. And the bill literally got out of its committee this last time, had plenty of support, in fact, overwhelming support, although there are some detractors still, got out of the committee, but just couldn't get through the rest of the process in time. So it may very well happen this coming year, but it should. But, the long story short is it's very short-sighted. I mean, Madison Square Garden, the center of many people's sporting universe, not having MMA it seems criminal. It doesn't make any sense, and some very legitimate studies have shown that bringing one UFC event, they are the big dogs, into New York City, into Madison Square Garden, will probably generate $12-13 million over that weekend in revenues.
Oh, without a doubt.
Why wouldn't you want that?
Well, you know what the problem is, and this is just from my experience. Let's go back to 95, 96, in that range. UFC was trying to get to New York, this and that. They actually, you had a bunch of congressmen that went, and they petitioned it, and they shut it down. Okay,
right.
Because I know, because we were shut down too. Okay, so that's what transpired at that point, and it was really interesting. But in New York especially, it is difficult to have a boxing match, to have a boxing event. It's difficult to have a wrestling event. That's why the WWE only comes here a few times a year, because you have to go. The taxes are incredible, which you have to pay on the match, whether you generate the revenue or not, ticket sales, whatever. You have to pay that. You have to pay your dues, and then just going through all the other stuff, because all you guys have to be registered in New York. They have to be with the New York State Athletic Commission. They have to have insurance, and then it's high-end insurance, and so on and so forth. And you have to pay for all that. So to have an event in New York, just so everyone understands, it costs a lot of money. So basically, not having MMA in New York, becomes, you have, I guess, some bleeding heart liberals that are out there. Oh, we don't want bloodshed, but something? What's happening? You have kids that are doing this in their backyard. They're doing it in alleyways because there's no way to see it in New York. Same way when wrestling, when they make it difficult to have events because the cost factor is just too high. Okay, to have events in New York. That's why you don't have a lot of pro wrestling events in New York nowadays. Okay,
Sure.
And it just happens. That's why you'll have more pro wrestling events in New Jersey because the athletic commission is not squeezing them that way. So I just wanted to throw that in just because I know certain things that have transpired that put us to where we are today, and hopefully he can push through that, and they change their view on things in order to bring mixed martial arts to New York, because I think, especially with this city the way it is right now, New York City, that they would embrace it because the revenue stream that would come from that, as you said, just from the event, from the merchandise sales, just the taxes on that alone can help, and it's going to help the vendors. Madison Square Garden, Nassau, well, more so Madison Square Garden than Nassau Coliseum. Madison Square Garden, you'll have people around. People will come from states over just to watch a match. That is that's revenue stream for New York City, and that is a big thing. So hopefully they do push it through. Hopefully with your help and the Assemblyman's help, it'll happen.
Well, and you know what, Lou, it will happen, and it's just a matter of when. And so if people haven't, there's a website that I wasn't thinking about initially pointing out on your show, but I think it's worthwhile. It's MMA Facts, FACTS, MMAfacts.com, and it's a site that's set up in such a way that you can literally, with its help, send a letter to your representatives, asking them to support the efforts to bring MMA to New York. And if there are any members of government listening to your show or hear somehow about it, I would say to them, please remember what you do. You're elected to represent people, and the people that you represent, they want this. So blocking it is totally not doing your job. I mean, it's quite the opposite. People want this, and you know what? For the people that don't, they just won't go to the show. But, it really needs to happen. It's happening, I'm in Massachusetts, it's happening here. It's meeting no opposition now. The bill is just about, it has one more vote to be finally approved.
That's Kennedy country, so yeah. For that to pass there, that's a big thing.
It is, and it's unfortunate that Kennedy died this morning for people that didn't know that. But yes, there's no opposition in Massachusetts any longer, although there used to be, because people understand. I mean, here's the bottom line. I'm not anti-boxing. I think boxing is great. But you know what? Boxing, a lot more people die than ever have in mixed martial arts. They bleed in mixed martial arts, and some people are offended by that. But guys, really, let's be honest here. Bleeding or dying. I mean, MMA is not a bad, more dangerous sport. It's less so, and it's very exciting. Top skilled, top conditioned athletes. They dedicate their lives to this. Hundreds of thousands of us love it. It definitely should be in all 50 states. And whoever doesn't want to see it, they just don't have to go see it. That's all. It's that simple, really.
Well, that's it. And hopefully it'll be sooner than later that everything does get passed. Now, Aaron, let me ask you, the MMA Fight Council, you've been traveling all over the country, doing your thing. Where can people go to see the MMA Fight Council next? Where are you going to be? Do you have any other appearances going on soon?
That's a great question. We did launch at the UFC Fan Expo back in July. That was our first foray into the public eye, and what an exciting, incredible experience that was, and just all of the contacts that we made and the awareness that we were able to raise. And then we were able to come, speaking of New York, to the first ever New York MMA Expo that was put on by Carl Kern over at the Fighter Warehouse, New York, in Long Island. And that was a great, great show. We had incredible participation from the sport, from some of the top named fighters in the sport. Rob Walker, whom I mentioned, the New York Assemblyman, was there to show his support as we were showing support for MMA in New York. And that was fantastic also. And in fact, Lou, that was where I got to meet you, and it was certainly an honor to meet you and have Alan Goldberg and Chuck Zito there with us, and just really a great time. And of course, Ron Van Cleef was there. Now, beyond that, we're really